Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video I want to talk about the brand new fantastic book Feel Good Productivity by Ali Abdaals. Ali is a medical doctor, entrepreneur, YouTuber and productivity expert. Furthermore, he's also a very kind person who likes to share his knowledge. Therefore, he was a very big inspiration and motivation for me to actually start my own YouTube channel. Especially, he helped me to get over the fear of rejection, and I'm very thankful for Ali's help. Ali has more than 5 million YouTube subscribers right now, and his content is usually really good. And right now he published his first book, and it's really an amazing book, and you do not get disappointed with that. In my opinion, Ali wants to talk about two main messages. First of all, there's the message that actually joy is the key to success. So feeling good is the way that makes people successful, and that is something really spectacular in my opinion, because normally people talk about you need to be motivated, you need to have discipline, and that's the way you make it. However, it's a complete different approach, and in my opinion, not many people have talked about this before. So when I read about it, it was a game changer. I thought if that is true, is amazing, because I was personally struggling with productivity as well. I tried a lot with motivation and discipline. That works when you're a medical student, maybe still, but when you start to work as a medical doctor, it's much more exhausting. And therefore, I thought if that is true, that could be something that helps me. And I tried it out the last couple of weeks, and I can definitely say that this works, and it makes my life much easier. The second big message Ali wants to share, and in my opinion, that is the best part of the book, is that productivity is not a to-do list. And also this book is not a to-do list. Productivity is more like a philosophy, and Ali shares more than 54 actionable experiments here, and you can just try them out. I imagine you have like a toolbox, and in there are like 54 tools. You take them out, you see if this tool actually helps you in your productivity, and if yes, you can keep it in the box, and if not, you just remove it from there. So I really like this approach, because it's like it's your life, you're an individual person, you have to see what helps you. And I really don't like an approach where somebody tells you you have to do this or that, and that will definitely help you. The book contains out of 3 parts. The first part is Energize. Here Ali talks about 3 Energizer that actually help you to feel good and to improve your productivity. Second, Unblock. Here Ali talks about 3 negative feelings that actually lead to procrastination and avoid being productive. So therefore, we have to remove or handle these kind of negative feelings to increase our productivity level. And third is about Sustain. Here Ali talks about 3 different kind of burnouts that we should avoid, and that finally can help us to sustain productivity for a very long time. The first part, Energize, is about the 3 main energizers. First, we have play. Here, Ali gives us 3 examples how to bring more play to our life. First, we have adventure. We could, for example, use one of the 8 main play characters that are described by the psychologist Dr. Stuart Brown. Mostly people identify with 1 or 2 of them. So for example, if you identify with a narrator, you could write a boring email in a more like a story style. Second, we could also look for a side quest. This is a term that usually comes from computer games and describes missions that are not actually necessary to end the computer game. However, that can also bring some fun into your life. So for example, what happens if you climb to the highest mountain in a game? We could use that in our own life. For example, if we want to work on a project for a few hours, instead of doing this at home, we could also go to a coffee place and see if we can explore something new over there. The second part is fun. Here Ali explains that we could bring more fun into our life by maybe making work more enjoyable while we listen to music, or saying that we will reward ourselves after the work by doing something that we actually enjoy. Secondly, he talks about the research of the psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, who explains that we should focus more on the journey than the result. This could help us to be in a state which is called the flow, in which we forget everything around us and just focus on the work. He shares that we could use little small challenges to get into that state. And Ali shares the story of a famous writer who had this boring job at McDonald's and just decided to make it more fun by little challenges, like calling it the barbecue day. During this day, he would try to sell people barbecue sauce for every McDonald's meal, and that made life much more fun. Third, he talks about reducing risk. So we shouldn't take life too serious all the time and see failure not always as a failure. A failure is only a failure if we name it like this. We could also interpret it more as something positive, like we learned something new so we can do it better the next time, or we found out something that we do not like and we don't want to continue anymore. Lastly, he says you shouldn't be serious, you should be more sincere. So, for example, if you're at a job interview, you shouldn't care so much about how to make a good impression, how to get the job. Concentrate more on getting to know the people, what this job would look like. That would make a much better impression than being too serious about everything. And on the other hand, also don't take it too easy. Don't care about anything. That would be the opposite bad extreme. Second, power. Here Ali shows that this is another important energizer, and Ali does not want to say that we should have power over other people. It's more meant like we have the power to create our own life or our own future, and therefore that's a very meaningful thing. He mentioned 3 principles again. First of all, we have to focus on our self-confidence. He explains that that is something that we can work on. It's not something that if we do not have self-confidence, that's forever like this. No, we can change it quite easily just by imagination. So for example, we could think about ourselves like, how would I do it if I was very self-confident? And secondly, also by self-talk. If you tell yourself something like, I'm good, I'm great, I can do it, that also already helps to improve your self-confidence. Secondly, he talks about competence. So we need to be competent to have the feeling that we can create our own life. Here he first explains that to be competent, you should really try to learn something, learn skills, repeat it and repeat it again, so you get very, very skillful, and that will make you better. Secondly, he talks about the Shoshin approach. This is an approach in which you make yourself feel like a beginner again. It's a very powerful tool. He explains that the coach of Michael Jordan at that time, Phil Jackson, used this approach with his team. It is an approach from the Zen Buddhism, and basically it means that you start to think again that you are a beginner, even if you're professional, because what do beginners do? They're not scared, they don't know anything, so they just try out things. They look to get better. They are not scared of making mistakes, and that will finally improve yourself. But if you're already a professional, you oftentimes already know what you're good in and what you're not so good in, and you do not focus on trying something new, and maybe that would actually help you to get better. And finally, here he talks about the Protige effect. So that means that if you know something, it's really good and important to actually share your knowledge. Tell somebody about your knowledge, because that will also help you to learn more about the thing. So here, when I'm doing a YouTube video and I'm sharing this knowledge of the book with you guys, that actually also helps me a lot to get to know the content much better. Finally, responsibility. Here Ali explains first that there are different kinds of motivation. The intrinsic motivation, that is something that you want to do because you're curious about it, you're interested. And secondly, the extrinsic motivation. So you do something because you get money for it. Somebody tells you you should do it for other reasons. Of course, the intrinsic motivation is much higher because you have the feeling that's like your own idea, and it also gives you a feeling of autonomy. So therefore, Ali wants to explain that to have more power in your life, you should find autonomy in what you're doing. Of course, this seems to be a bit difficult if you're working in a job where you're like a waitress, and of course then you have to serve the guest and you cannot do much about it. However, you can still find autonomy in the process of how you do things, like how you interact with the guest. Nobody can control you in this case. So try to find the autonomy to make it much more fun. You can also work on your attitude. Like, it's a really big game changer if you say like, oh, I have to do it, or instead you're saying like, I want to do it, or I'm so thankful that I can do that. So at the end you do the same thing, however by just a different approach. Like, you're thankful to do something instead of you have to do it. It makes life already much easier. You feel more power about your life, and that will help you. Third, people. Here Ali shares that people are the third and final energizer to feel good and to increase your productivity. We have all already experienced this. There are some people around us that are just amazing. You know, they make us feel so good. They make us enjoy life so much more. And however, on the other side, there's also always people that really are so stressful, that make our life so hard, and it's so little fun to work around these people. You just want to talk with them as much as possible during the day. First, find your scene. So this basically means that when you're working with people, try to stay positive and look for teamwork. Like, interact with them in a friendly way, that they feel good, and see it more like colleagues and not like competition. So it's not about like I win, you lose. It's more about like we win. And secondly, it's also often very good if you work on your own project to have people around you that do the same work. So for example, that's often the case as a student when you're in the library. That's also a way to be energized by being around people. Second, it's about the helper high. Here Ali explains that it's actually really nice to help other people, do some little things like buy them a coffee or something that improves your mood. And secondly, also it's a really nice thing to ask for help. This is called the Benjamin Franklin effect. Here Ali explains that if you want that somebody likes you more, ask them for help. Finally, he talks about communication. Communication is another important thing when you interact with people, and here Ali explains that we oftentimes do not communicate enough. Even if we think we communicate much, it's probably not enough, and we still have to increase it a lot. And this is the case also for positive things, like be enthusiastic if somebody tells you something really nice, but also communicate like things that you do not like, and tell the person in a positive way how things could improve. This was the first part of my book review of the brand new fantastic book Feel Good Productivity by Ali Abdaals. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you're also interested to get to know the second part of the book, Unblock, how to beat procrastination, and also the third part, Sustain, how to keep a lifelong productivity, please click on the link here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.